Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster, and I thought I'd do a quick review of my ESEE6 now that we've finished all of the mods. And there's a couple of things I want to do with this today. We already know that it will throw a spark, so I've got no intention of lighting any fires with it today. It's been a really hot week. Everything here is kind of tinder dry, so there's no need for me to build a fire. But what I do want to do is just a couple of little tests. I've got a piece of freshly fallen birch, and I want to give the knife a quick test in terms of how easily it will batten through that. I realise that's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's something I like to use knives of this sort for, so that's what I'm going to do with it. I've also got a piece of dead standing which I also want to batten down, and I then want to see how good this knife is at sort of more fine detail work in terms of trying to get some shavings off of this to maybe make a feather stick. And then finally I've got this. And do you know what, I can never remember what these are called, but they do grow in abundance around here. And once I've been through the other two tests, I just want to basically use the knife to slice through this, try and get some really fine sort of slices, just to show, hopefully, that the edge can kind of take a bit of abuse and carry on like normal. So what I'm going to do, guys, without further ado, I just want to try and batten through this little lump here. And this is the first time I've tested this knife like this. I mean, as you can see, hopefully from the picture there, you know, the knife is considerably longer than this piece of wood, and this is probably the sort of the width and size of wood that I would use if I was sort of trying to build a substantial fire. Though, to be honest, you know, it wouldn't be green, but you know, green is more difficult to split through than dry. So I thought I'd, you know, give it a good proper test. So I'm being eaten by mozzies as well, guys. Right, so all I'm going to do is just try and batten through this and see how we get on. So there we go, guys, nice and simple. Didn't take much more effort than I was expecting. And just seeing as I have it here, if I can get this to balance, I'm just going to run through this, because normally I would quarter a piece of wood this sort of size for a fire. So again, there we go, guys, nice and simple. I'm going to lean over this log just so you can see, you know, a few little marks on the blade where you've got some of the sap. Really not worried about that. The finish on the spine of the blade is holding up really nicely, which is exactly what I was hoping to see. And next up, I just want to try and split this much smaller piece of dead standing, because that's what I would normally use for my fires. I couldn't find anything bigger than this today, but again, I want something smaller so that I can try and feather stick it anyway. So again, there, nice clean even split, exactly what we're looking for. And again, I'm just wondering, I was hoping I might be able to do that with just the knife alone, but it looks like that's not going to work. So there we go, guys. So again, nicely split down. And now that this knife has taken a little bit of a battering, certainly not by much, don't get me wrong, I just want to see what this edge will do. Obviously we sharpened it in one of my previous videos. And we've got some nice shavings coming off. Problem is I can't seem to keep them on the attached to the wood for this time being. That's better. So I'm not going to do a load of these guys, but again you can kind of see these shavings here. You know, they're nice and thin. Did maybe 4 or 5 times as much as that. Certainly be good enough to get a decent fire going. And then finally, and again, so I can't recall what this stuff's called. If you do know, by all means chuck a note in the comments and let me know. But I just wanted to see kind of how thin a shaving, or a slice if you like, of this I can get. You know, this is a really, really nice, really sharp blade. And again, it's something that I'd be quite happy to use for food prep as well. So again guys, hopefully you can see from the thickness of this blade against the thickness of these slices. Hopefully that's picking up well enough on the camera there. You know, it's still capable of doing some really nice sort of fine detail work, which is obviously what we want it for. But all in all, I'm really pleased with it, guys. You know, the handles, the scales, the blade itself, the new finish, plus the edge, which is, you know, has done wonders just through touching a stone and having a quick strop on it. But no, I'm really pleased with it. You know, I really do recommend these knives. You know, I've only been using it for a short while, but I can certainly see its benefits. Definitely, you know, in comparison to say a Mora or one of my other sort of more bushcraft style knives, you know, it is a survival knife, or that's certainly what they're marketed for. But at the end of the day, I can use this to split wood, same as I would with an axe. So if I'm only going out and my intention is only to maybe have a small fire, then I can quite happily use this, you know, to split the wood that I need to, which means I haven't got to carry an axe with me. I mean, sometimes I do anyway because I like carving, but you know, that's a different thing. You know, it will also deal with really fine detail work, so I can make my feather sticks. I can use it for food preparation if I want to. And the other thing I just wanted to very quickly try, just while I remember. So this has got quite a heavy blade, and it's no way near a machete or anything like that. But you can, to a degree, chop with it. Which in my mind essentially means that I can carve with this. I may do a separate video on that. I might see if I can make something basic like a spoon or a spatula using just this knife. Very similar to the method that I'm using here. You know, I'll split down my piece of wood and then sort of, well, you know, I can't call it anything other than what it is, and I am hacking away with this knife. It's certainly not as controlled, if you like. Not to say that it's not safe, but it's not quite as controlled as using an axe. But you know, it does a reasonable job. And as I say, I may do another video just to have a look at how that works and whether it's something that I can use in the future. But I hope it was useful, guys. Comments and questions in the box below. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope you'll all join me next time. Thanks, guys.